Today we are talking about movies coming out in 2021, so stay tuned because here it comes. Hi and welcome to the channel. Here we are talking about everything in movies, TV shows, and entertainment as a whole. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos coming up in the channel. So movies coming out in 2021. Man, 2020 has been a crazy year. We've had movies releasing online, and then we had Disney put up Mulan on for $30-something. I don't think so. No thanks. But yeah, we've had some. It was an interesting year, right, to say the least. So now 2021 is shaping up to be a blockbuster year. I mean, it's gonna be filled with movies. It's gonna be filled with A-tier movies. So let's talk about some of those movies. And the first one on the list for me is something I'm very excited about, and it got some controversy in the casting of Robert Pattinson. Of course, we're talking about The Batman. Now, this is gonna take place in England, obviously Gotham, but they're filming it in England. It's gonna follow Bruce 2 years into being Batman. So they're gonna focus a lot more on the detective side of things rather than the brawler and the martial artist that he is. Now, Robert Pattinson got some heat for not trying to buff up, and I don't know. I think I wouldn't fault him for it. I mean, this is the beginning of the Batman, right? So he's not yet a master of martial arts. He's more about wits, the muscle, the physical force. So I'm really excited to see Robert Pattinson in that movie. If you haven't seen any other movies by Robert Pattinson except for Twilight, then I recommend you watching the other ones because they're very good. And you can really see how much he's grown as an actor since Twilight. So very, very excited about The Batman. Another movie that I'm very excited about, the Snyder's cut of the Justice League. Now, some actors already said they're back on board, as Ben Affleck has said he's back on board to play Batman. And basically everybody else, with the exception of Henry Cavill, we're not sure yet if he's coming in to record some more scenes. That was kind of debunked. But we're gonna have to wait and see if he's coming in. But nonetheless, what we saw in theaters was only 25% of what Snyder had in mind for his cut of the movie. So we're gonna see a vastly different movie, and hopefully a way better one, because the first one was garbage. Speaking of garbage, we got Suicide Squad. Now, the first movie was really bad. It was really bad. First movie was really bad, guys. It was awful. We barely saw the Joker, right? We barely saw Jared Leto, which was probably for the best. It was for the best. And it under-delivered big time. The movie was not good. It was just, there's not much else to talk about the movie except that the movie sucked. And I really hope this new one is better, because if it's not, then just forget about it. Just call it quits, because it ain't worth it. And speaking of Jared Leto, we got Morbius. Now, Morbius is a Spider-Man villain, and it's not going to be related to the current MCU, as we know from what we've read so far. But it could be a possibility, it could be a possibility, just like Venom is a possibility to show up in future Spider-Man movie, because there have been talks, especially in Morbius, of there's scenes in Morbius where they reference to Spider-Man. So it'd be very cool if we can get Morbius, we can get Venom and Spider-Man in one movie. I mean, Morbius is not one of those very well-known villains or characters to the general public. So it'll be very interesting to see what Jared Leto does with it. It'll be very interesting to see what Tom Hardy does with the second Venom that's supposed to have Woody Harrelson. He's gonna play Carnage. So I'm looking forward to those two way more than I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad. And that is a fact with the hard. Never. And just segue into another one. Speaking of Tom Holland, we have Uncharted. Now, this is one of my favorite game franchises for the PlayStation. It tells a story about Nathan Drake, who is a treasure hunter, and he goes through these adventures. And there's 4 games right now. But this one, the movie, is going to set place with an early version of Nathan Drake. So Tom Holland's going to play a young adult / teenager version of Nathan Drake. So that should be very interesting because the Nathan Drake from the games, he's very charming. He's very witty. I think Tom Holland's got the personality. He doesn't have much of the looks, but we'll see. As Tom Holland ages a little bit, maybe he can start looking a little bit more like the Nathan Drake from the games. Mark Wahlberg is going to be playing Sully. And if you've never heard of the game before, Sully is, the co-main star of the game. He's an older man that is more like a father figure to Nathan Drake. Now, the movie that I'm very excited about is the remake, not so much a remake, I guess, but the continuation years ahead of Ghostbusters. Now, this is rumored to have the original cast in it, but they're not going to be the main part of the movie. It's going to have a brand new cast. And Paul Rudd is in it. Paul Rudd's going to be playing the high school teacher that knows all about the Ghostbusters and what happened in the early 90s, late 80s with the Ghostbusters. Now, this is going to follow the family of one of the original cast members. So if you don't know, I kind of don't want to spoil it for you. You can go ahead and do some little bit more research on it. But it's going to follow the family of one of the original cast. And hopefully we get to see some of the main cast in there from the previous original movies, because that would be amazing. Another movie on my list is Avatar. Finally, Avatar 2 is 100% finished. And James Cameron even said that Avatar 3 is already 95% done. So they're not gonna mess around. I think they're doing more like a Lord of the Rings style, where they record a bunch of the movies at one time and then just release 2 different movies, which is a very, very, very smart idea, especially speaking of Avatar. If you have gotten value off of this video, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. It really helps me out, guys. The more you guys watch, the more it keeps me motivated to be making these videos and, just have some fun. That's all this channel here is about, is to answer your questions about movies, your questions about TV shows, your question about entertaining and gaming, and I have fun doing it. So that is the end of the video. See you guys on the next one. Peace.